My name is Carolyn Barry, and I am your commercial master teacher. Today we are covering meeting with potential commercial agents. In our last video, we focused on submitting to commercial agents for representation. Now we look at what happens when you interview with interested agents. You will learn what to expect at the meeting and how you can make the best impression. So again, we are fortunate enough to have 3 top Los Angeles agents to give you their tips and opinions. Alicia Ruskin, commercial agent and partner at Kazarian Spencer Ruskin & Associates. Hugh Leon, top agent with Coast to Coast Agency. And Daniel Hoff, Daniel Hoff Agency.
You want to come in the way you would come in for a typical audition for your type. If you're young, you can come in jeans and a cute shirt and boots. If you're older, come in something maybe Banana Republic and kind of cool. And if you're a scruffy guy with a beard, take a shower and kind of neaten it up. But you can come in a little bit scruffy. We want to get a sense when you walk in the door that we know exactly how you would be cast.
If they just look like they crawled out of bed or rolled in from the gym, that's not going to work for me. Same with girls. If they come in no makeup and looking a little haggard, that's not going to work for me. Or if they give an incredible reading, then of course I'll talk to them after and say, you can never go into a room looking like that.
I think you want to wear and present yourself in the way that you want me to see you. So it's funny, sometimes people come in wearing they're all decked out and they're wearing suits and the women are all decked out. Is that the image that you're trying to portray? If that is, and that's who you are, fantastic. If you're more the hip, cool person, I want to see that. If you're, the sexy, good-looking, whatever person, then this is my first impression of you. So whatever kind of way that you want yourself to come across, that's what I want to see. Well, I always ask them to bring extra pictures and resumes. That way my assistants can also have a picture and resume to look at. And if you've emailed me, I have a hard copy picture. And any other pictures that you want me to see. If you're a model, I want to see your book just because I want to see how you look on tape, on print. And if you do have a commercial reel and you want to leave that with me, I'd love to have that as well.
They're going to bring their headshots. They're going to bring, at our request, a list of some of the casting directors that they have auditioned for, maybe some of the directors that they've worked for if they've been doing this for a while. They're going to bring a disc of their work, a reel if they have one, or if we don't already have one. And they should bring in maybe some questions to ask us as well, because it is a two-way street kind of an interview. I mean, we don't grill them. We don't expect to be grilled by somebody, but we'd like them to have something to talk about. We don't audition in the room. The only time we would ever have somebody read is if they are brand new to the business, young meaning 18 or sometimes 10, because we do work with minors now. But anybody else we don't have read, we rely on their reel. I
don't take people based on just the look. You need to be able to act. So I give them a commercial copy, and when they come in, part of the interview, as I mentioned, is me talking, getting to know their personality, and the other part is looking to see how they read. I want to make sure that they can handle copy and how they handle that copy. And if I'm not seeing something that I want to see, I might ask them to do it in a different way. Generally, though, you get one shot. I want to see what your choices are. They get a choice of commercial copy. So if you pick the wrong thing, and here's the kicker. I get people that come in to see me, comedy, 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 all the way down their resume. That's all I see, improv, comedy. This is what they do. And then they walk in my office, and they're funny. And then they go to, the copy that they chose to read from me is all serious. And I asked them afterwards, why didn't you want to do anything? Well, you see that I do comedy on my resume. I wanted to try to show you a different side. I haven't seen the one side to begin with. Just because you say you do comedy, I have no idea that you can do it. I want to see you be funny. That's what I'm bringing you in for. After I get to know you, then you can show me your other side. I want to see what's your strength. That's what I want. Our
intention is to get the personality of that person out into the room, make them feel comfortable so we can really get a sense of who they are, and if we kind of vibe together. It's very much like a first date in that way. So we ask where they're from, we ask sometimes just about their families, we ask about their origins as an actor. We've got the resume in front of us. There's a lot of questions that can come up with the resume. That's why I talked earlier about not lying on the resume, because between the three of us, we have quite a background, and we'll be able to say, oh, we have an actor that was in that movie, and what do you think about that? So, and we just kind of let the conversation kind of fly. Sometimes we ask what roles they see themselves playing. We ask about their experience with Los Angeles. That's always an interesting conversation if they're from out of town.
Anything that kind of loosens people up and gets me to see the real person, not just I'm coming in as the actor and I'm trying to impress you kind of a person. I want to see the real you. And how you present yourself and how you kind of respond on the spot as well. That's something that's important, because if you are too nervous and get in the way of yourself, you're going to do that at your auditions, and you're not ready yet. They should answer them honestly. I want to know, if I'm asking you a question, I don't want to hear what you think I want to hear. I want to hear the answer that you're going to give, because that's what's going to tell me who that tells me who you are. So yeah, if you're listen, if you're funny and comedic and you have an upbeat personality, show me your personality. I want to see who you. This is your chance. I want to see you, and that's the person that I'm going to get, that I'm basing my decision on. So if you walk out going, oh man, I should have answered it this way or should have done that, don't even think that way. Just walk in and be yourself, have fun, show your personality, and do your thing. That's all I'm asking.
I don't think you want to come in with anything too preconceived, because one of the things that we're looking at is how you toss the ball back and forth with us, because commercial auditions are very much like that. They're very often you'll go into a commercial audition and you'll just be asked a question like, tell me about your favorite breakfast cereal, or tell me about your favorite show when you were a kid. So we want them to be loose enough so that we know we send them in there and they're not going to freeze up.
So how do you see me? What kind of characters do you see me, playing here? What is it? How do you like for me? If I came aboard with you, how do you like communication? How is it best to stay in touch with you? In what way do you work, or how do you handle with your client? Am I going to need new pictures when I come in? And most of those things I'm going to say, yes, I'll answer more specifically once you come in for your orientation meeting. Mm-hmm. But prior to that, it's like, don't only ask those questions that you feel are really pertinent to you making a decision.
If an actor has questions, he should just be authentic to who they are and ask everything they want to know. And like I told you earlier, when I do an orientation meeting, I'll thoroughly answer every single question they probably have in their head, above and beyond. And then it's always open for, they can stop me with questions at any time. So they should never hold back.
We're looking to see if somebody is open and relaxed, and we feel like we could spend time with this person, because not only are we looking to see how they're going to be in the audition rooms, but we're going to be hopefully dealing with this person for years and years and years, and they'll be dealing with our assistants, and we want to feel like, is this somebody that when their name pops up in my email, or my receptionist screens their call, am I like, oh good, I can't wait to talk to this person, or I'm going to be like, oh, I really wish this person hadn't called? And that you can get a lot of sense of that in the initial meeting. Some actors come in and they've got a list of a dozen questions, and I feel that I'm being interviewed a little bit too much. Now, I suppose if I just opened my doors yesterday as a talent agency and we didn't have 50 years of experience, then maybe they would have grilled us, but they should have done their homework, and they should know that we are highly reputable, and they're not going to have to worry that we're going to be closing our doors tomorrow, so they don't have to be quite so insistent. I also get a little bit turned off by someone who won't listen, that will be talking and they'll be drifting in some way. You can just tell they're just not in the room, they're not present. And that's a serious red flag for both professionally and personally. And And then someone who's a little bit too casual, that it's not a job interview, but it's still a professional situation, and feet up on the couch and kind of kicking back as if we've always known each other. That's an act that this person is putting on to cover their nerves, and we read right through it, and it's just not, they shouldn't do that. It puts the other person off. I wouldn't do that in their house. Hip pocket, meaning that there's someone that you are working with kind of on a side capacity. You haven't signed them. I would say they're not fully a client. And I can think of maybe one or two people in the whole time I'm with the agency that we don't sign. This is maybe somebody who's only in town very briefly, maybe somebody who's out here from our New York office that's just here for a pilot season and really doesn't know if they're going to move here. In that case, we wouldn't go through the whole process of signing somebody, but we're a signing agency. We feel like we've had our first date, now we're going to get married, and do our paperwork. So yes, it's very rare that we do that.
That I don't think they're marketable. Like, there's some people that are really talented, but I can't get them an audition, so I don't waste my time or theirs.
But one of the reasons that can happen are some of the things I mentioned about the attitude has turned us off, just the meeting did not go well. There was just a disconnect somewhere, and we just didn't like them, and we sensed they didn't like us, and we thought this just isn't going to go anywhere. Or what's happened is that after the meeting, we've gone back, we've had a separate meeting, just the agents, and we have carefully looked at our list, and we've seen that, in fact, we cannot take one more person of this type because it won't be fair to the other people.
When actors come in to see me and they say, you know what, listen, I understand, I know a few of your clients, I've gone in and I've asked some casting directors, and I know that I know what your reputation is, I know who you are, I know how long you've been doing it, whatever. The more that they show that they have done their homework, that they're prepared, the more that when they're in a meeting, the more that they can share with me that helps me get to know them. And I've had people also just win me over with their personalities. There's something that is just so likable. And so I need to, I want to get to know this. Maybe they don't, maybe I'm a little iffy on their commercial look. Maybe their read was a little off and I need to get them into a class. But there's something about them that sparkles and shines, and I really feel like they're going to do well with some guidance.
We then contact either the actor or the manager, whoever was the conduit for the introduction. Sometimes then we go into a waiting period, if that actor has other meetings, and we're waiting to see if we are selected. And that's very exciting when that we do get, so we won something. We're very competitive. It's like we want that actor that we want. And then at that point, we sometimes they're already with another agency, and the next step is they have to, disengage from that agency in whatever ways they choose to do that. And then they contact us, and we go about setting up our next meeting, which is a paperwork meeting.
I don't have time to sit there and call every person that I don't want to represent. If you don't receive a phone call from me, that means I don't want to represent you. Usually I call within a couple days. If I take a meeting on a Wednesday, by Friday or Monday at the latest, you'll receive a phone call from me, unless I'm out sick or something. But when I do, I will call them. I will let them know that I'm following up from our meeting and that I would love to have them join our team if they're interested.
They want to go with a gut feeling, because actors are very intuitive creatures, and if they walk into a room and it doesn't feel right, they should pay attention to that, no matter how prominent the agent, how many friends they have at that agency, how much their manager wants them to sign. If they don't feel it in their gut that it's the right move, they should not go with it. They should trust that.
Choose an agent that has connections that's going to be able to get them in the door for the big jobs, all the nationals, and I would have them be with an agency that really wants them.
Nowadays with the computer, you can Google anyone. So if you don't even, if you don't know people in the industry that you can ask, casting directors, managers, people that really know who's who, if you're not a member of an organization like the Actors Network or somebody, a place that has resources on file that you can actually research people, look people up online at the very least. But the other things that they can do is go in and if you're already auditioning, you can see whose clients do you see on that list. And that's a big, I think that's a big tell. And I think that what they need to know is if they're coming in, do they get a good vibe from me? Am I somebody that they feel like they can work with? How do our personalities mesh? Like anything else, I think that's really important. So to know, who I am, what my background is, where I come from, what I do, and then to know, is this a fit for you as well?
There is lots of great information here that should help you in your quest to secure commercial representation. And never forget, you have a choice. The agent works for you, and you have to feel good about who represents you. If you want more in-depth information about this process, check out my book, Hit the Ground Running, and my CD program, Getting the Job. And if you've missed the first video in this series covering how to submit to agents, check out the MTT archives. In our next video in this series, we cover how to create a successful relationship with your agent and thus get the necessary opportunities to audition for and book television commercials. Don't miss it. See you next time.